Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about what my dreadlocks and parenting have in common. Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post. Hope everyone has had a fantastic Sunday, and you are geared up and ready for an amazing Monday. I'm so excited. We got... Before we get into tonight's episode, we've got Breaking Free from the Parenting Matrix counting down starting February 1st. So if you have not signed up to join me and a group of other committed and passionate parents and professionals for 28 days starting February 1st, I invite you now, because come February 1st, enrollment will be closed and you will be missing out. I will be popping back out of the matrix with my faithful crew to dig deep. 28 days. It's going to be personal coaching with me, unlimited private Facebook group access, Q&A access. Plus, I'll be coming into the Facebook group every day and be there present, be there live. Everyone who's a member already knows that anytime a question gets posed, I'm usually on it pretty quick, even at 2 a.m. when I'm working with serving my members who are in other countries. So, breaking out of the parenting matrix. It's going to be a 28-day process. It's actually going to be 30 days total, but it's going to be 10 days a different level. And so there's going to be the first 10-day level is going to be the emotional level. So we'll be looking at ourselves as parents, and then each day there is an emotional component, a cognitive component, and then there's repetition. So first 10 days, it's going to be looking at ourselves as parents, working on ourselves, looking at our blueprints, looking at how we get outside of the parenting matrix once and for all, and what that means for us as parents when it comes to all of our relationships, not just our relationships with our children. And then each day, each lesson for the day will have 3 segments: an emotional segment, a cognitive segment, and a repetition segment, because it takes emotion and repetition to change the brain. So that's the first 10 days. The second 10 days, we'll be moving on to our children, understanding our children, what it means to move our children out of the parenting matrix. And the same thing, each day, new lesson, 3 components: a cognitive component, an emotional component, and repetition. And then finally, at the end, the last 10 days is going to be the family. So looking at the entire family, creating that understanding, locking it in. 28 days, you're going to be breaking through the parenting matrix, never to return again. So if you haven't signed up yet, I want to invite you to do so. We're kicking off February 1st. Just go to www.theparentingmatrix.com. Check it out. Get signed up. 28 days. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be powerful. So, again, the invitation is still extended between now and February 1st. After February 1st, the group will be closed. All right. So what do my dreadlocks and parenting have in common? So, the other night when I was doing, look at gray hair sticking up there. So the other night when I was doing my post daily dose, I noticed this new little dread that I'm forming right here. It kind of sticks out, and so I have to twist it. Well, the reason it's like this is because this area of my hair is still too short to fit within this other dreadlock it's going to join. So I start twisting it. And what I want you to understand is that this dreadlock right here, and this goes below my waist. As you can see, it wraps all the way around my head, comes out on the other side. So it is very long. 1, 2, it's about 3 feet long. Maybe even more than 3 feet. It started like this. This one dread, every dread on my head, every lock on my head started like this. And you know why they call them dreadlocks? Is because the Rastafarians were the first to wear locks, and people used to refer to them as those dreaded warriors with those long locks. And so they came to be known as dreadlocks. Because the not the Rastafarians. Yes, the Rastafarians did wear them, but the Maasai warriors made the locks famous, because it's how they wear their hair still to this day. And the Rastafarians took that approach from them, and that's everyone referred to them as those dreaded warriors, the Maasai warriors. Those are the people that jump up and down and run all day and drink cow's blood, and they're just super intense. But anyway, every dreadlock on my head started like this. And this is the way I think about parenting. And this is the way I think about getting outside the parenting matrix. Every day when I first started growing my hair 20 years ago, I was twisting all these little baby dreadlocks, and they were about this long, all over my head, and they used to stand up all over my head just like this one does. And I had to do that every single day. I didn't do it just one day. I would do it all day long. I would just twist and twist and twist. And the reason you do that is because I'm giving you guys a dreadlock tutorial, is because you're actually teaching the hair follicles to grow around one another. And once you teach them to grow around one another, that is ultimately what forms the dreadlock. See, it gets it all, and this is like 20-year-old hair, 18-year-old hair, because this is how long I've been growing my hair, and this is one of my thickest ones. But this one started like this. And that's the same for parenting. When you start learning a different paradigm, when you start thinking about getting outside of the parenting matrix and doing something different, you're a newborn, you're a baby. And I've been doing this work every day for 20 years, almost 20 years. And so you learning a new method is just like this dreadlock. And what would happen is that, so I'd have all these little dreadlocks sticking up all over my hair, all over my head, and I would have to eventually wash my hair. I usually wash my hair, have done so consistently every 2 weeks for the last 20 years. And it's just, black people don't have to wash their hair as often because it doesn't get as oily. So, usually it's once a week, but I usually do mine once every couple weeks. Every now and then when I'm really lazy, I'll let it go for another, for an extra week. But usually after that, I've got to wash it because I can just feel it. It takes in a lot of energy, and I got to get it clean. And when I get it clean, my whole head feels light. So I'd have all these little dreadlocks sticking up all over my head, just like this one here. And I would have to get in the shower, and I'd have to wash it. I put shampoo in my head. I wash it all in my hair, and guess what it does? It would all come loose. So all that twisting for that 2-week period of time, every single day, all day long, would all come loose. And it would look like little plugs, but it would all come loose. And then guess what I'd have to do? I'd have to start all over again, twisting again. And I'd twist again for the next 2 weeks. And I'd just keep twisting until I had to wash it again. And then I'd wash it, and it wouldn't come as loose. See, after that repetition of that 2 weeks, it wouldn't come as loose as easily. So it would start to form a pattern. And so then I'd wash it again, good and clean, and pat it dry, and I'd tighten it back up. Well, then after a period of 6 months, it took 6 months of every week, and that's people have always commented on how clean my dreadlocks are, and it's been very important to me because I'm a professional, and these are already different. I'm different, as it is, especially with the message that I speak, and I wanted to always present a professional image and didn't want to come across, like my hair was all wild and crazy. I'm not a musician, so I've always taken care of it. But it took 6 months of consistent repetition, every single day, all day long, and every 2 weeks, washing my hair and it coming loose and moisturizing it and tightening it up again before it started to finally lock in. And I did that with my hair, and my hair has been growing now for 20 years. For 20 years, I started growing my hair when my daughter was 22 years old. So going on, well, not 22, when she was 2 years old, that's when I first started growing. I used to shave my hair. I shaved my hair, it was like forehead bald for 4 years. Every morning I'd shave it. And so I started growing my hair out on her second birthday. And this is, 22 years later. Actually, she's 23 now. So 21 years later, this is the finished product. But it all started with this. And the point is, getting outside of the parenting matrix takes repetition. It takes effort. It takes hard work. It's not something you want to just quit on. You got to do this every day, all day. Mindfulness is a constant thing. Consciousness is a constant thing. Being responsible is a conscious thing. Did you struggle today? Did you struggle yesterday? When was the last time you struggled with your child? And then what's the investment you've made in continuing to get support and learn and be inspired and do something different? Like, what are you doing different? Because it's going to take emotion and it's going to take repetition. You have to have those two things to change the brain. I'm not just talking about teaching you different parenting techniques and concepts. I'm about teaching you a whole different paradigm, a way that you change the way you look at yourself, you look at your children, and you look at everyone else. It's a whole process of human behavior. And so that's why, you've got to be diligent. You've got to be committed. You've got to be passionate. You don't just give up when things get a little tough. You just keep going and you keep twisting. And now 20 years later, I'm still twisting. And when I wash my hair now, after 2 weeks, I do just like this. I tighten it real tight at the bottom and I twist it like that. And then I put this cap on my head, a do-rag. I sleep in it overnight and it's all laid back. And then in the morning, when I take the cap off, it's locked up. And it might come loose, especially these bigger ones. Like you can see how this one's really tight. This one's not as tight. It's a little loose because it's bigger. So, I'll have to tighten it a little bit and lock it up. And I'll sleep with it like that. And this one I've combined into two. Actually, this one is three. 3 different locks. 3 different locks combined into this one. That's repetition. Parenting is the same thing. You got to have repetition. You got to be committed. You can't ever stop. And so, hey, Peggy. So I hope that is just a different perspective for you guys. It all starts small and you just keep twisting. You just keep twisting. And finally you break through and you have the understanding that you need to keep you locked in. And that's what I want. I want to help you get locked in and stay out of the parenting matrix once and for all. Because after all, we are creating a new evolution. Well, that's it for this evening, guys. Big Papa loves you. I hope you have a fantastic evening, rest of your evening. Remember, Monday's coming up, so calm down that evening routine. Get everyone settling down, but most of all, settle yourself down. Breathe, work on calming yourself down. Sit on the couch for a while and just get quiet. Turn all the lights down. And just be positive. Just be positively focused on bringing down the energy in the home. It's Sunday evening. It's been a good day. We're just going to bring the energy down. Bring it down. Breathe it in. Focusing on just pulling it down within yourself. And as you're pulling it down within yourself, you're going to pull it down for your children, for your partner, for your spouse. My prayer for you is that you lay your head down tonight and that you have the sleep of angels. The angels are all over you and just sprinkling magical, regulated, loving pixie dust all over you. And you release all the stress in the cells of your body. You wake up in the morning, you're restored, refreshed, re-energized, reinvigorated, and ready to make tomorrow amazing. I love you. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.